Hey everybody. I'm sorry. That was like I said hey everybody and then like a cough immediately like came up and then that made me laugh. Laugh cough. Hello. Uh I am here today to do the book book the book the book first date book tag. It's all the books. It's the book ending of the books that I couldn't get out. Okay, the book first date book tag. And I was tagged by Sue Jackson. And this is a brand new tag, an original tag that was created by Marlisha at Marlisha Muses and Talia at Talia Nerds Out. I believe they are mother-daughter. And so this is a cool little tag. And Sue included this little quote from Marlisha, who said, "This original, as far as we can tell, book tag was inspired by my husband's suggestions that Talia and I used to brainstorm. Did you ever think of choosing a book as analogous to a first date with all its suspense and excitement? Yes or no?" So this is a fun tag. I really love doing tags. I don't know why I haven't done them. I've still got like a backlog of tags that I need to do. But so I thought I would, I'm doing this one because it's there. I just got it, and thank you very much, Sue. And I will tag, I'll include links to Sue's video and to Marlisha and Talia's versions of the tag in the description box below. I'm still, excuse me. Okay, without further ado, if it's Thursday, I feel goofy. All right, so the prompts. Number one, what books do you regret buying? I guess I mostly regret buying any book that I was really excited to read and then it just turned out to be a dud or a real bummer. And I'm looking at you tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. Yeah, it's just, any book like that book was a big one because it should have hit my sweet spot in so many ways. I was very excited to read a book about really sort of I think, if I remember correctly, it was sort of pitched as like these two friends, a guy and a girl. They're in school together, and they have they have an attachment to each other because of something that happened earlier in their life. I think that's actually what it is. And they come together like in their 20s and start a gaming business, and they create this gaming company and like video games or a video game. And they both sort of have unrequited feelings for the other in a way. Or they have like a love relationship, but that is like, or maybe one of them, I don't even remember now. But it sounded like a good book. And it was just awful. I thought it was awful. If you loved it, you got something out of it that I didn't. You were the lucky one. It's sort of like when you go to a restaurant and someone's told you, if you go to that restaurant, order this dish, it'll be so good. And you go to the restaurant and you order that dish and it's not that good. And it's like, well, maybe the chef wasn't there that night, or maybe there's some ingredient was missing, or maybe there was some other reason why it was off. I guess it's like that when a book doesn't work out, but I'm way off topic as usual. So that's really, I don't, and I regret buying them. And, I will fully admit that I used to really love it that you could read a book or start reading a book. I think this actually did work with tomorrow, and tomorrow. I'm not sure. But it used to be that if you bought books on Kindle, if you read a certain amount or like a certain amount of the book, or if like they're by a certain date, you could still return the book, which was really nice because I know, so evil, so bad to return a book. But if it doesn't work for you, I mean, what can I say? Anyway, Okay, so those are the kinds of books that I regret buying. Number 2, do you DNF books? Why or why not? At what point do you DNF? If you do, and how much time do you generally invest before DNFing? I DNF books all the time, both soft and hard. I would say that probably more often when I DNF a book, I'm just setting it aside. I'm just putting it away. I'm not gonna. I'll read it later. I'm not in the mood, or maybe I've started one too many books at one time, and then something else has really grabbed my attention, and so I'll set something aside. Um, and I will DNF probably really almost at any point. Except, yeah, if I'm 3/4 of the way through, I'll skim to the end, and I'm really not having a good time. I'll skim. I'll go ahead and finish it because like there is an investment there, and maybe I'm curious enough to see what is going to happen. But if I'm like halfway through and it's not working, I will walk away because life is too short. Life is just too short. Sorry. Number 3, is there a book you didn't want to come to an end or you couldn't put down? There have been so many books that I couldn't put down. This is an impossible question to answer. Um, but is there a book that I didn't want to come to an end? That's a different question to me. And I would say most of the time I'm ready for books to end. Um, there aren't too many books where, and especially because certain things happen in books that just bring the telling of that tale to a logical conclusion, or sometimes, very unfortunately, somebody dies or leaves the story. And so it's almost like, well, yeah, I could keep reading about this person, but it was the magic of these characters together that made the story work. Um, and I can't say what any of those books are because it could be a spoiler. So I can't give an example there. Um, but I will say, most recently, I did read Middlemarch. I just finished it like a week and a half ago, and I did not want that book to end. I could have gone on reading about Middlemarch for a fair while. If there was Middlemarch Volume 2, I would have bought it. I would have bought it. Sorry, George Eliot. You lost out on your estate lost out on all those extra dollars from Middlemarch Volume 2. Middlemarch Endgame. Okay. All right. Whew, okay. Number 4. Have you experienced withdrawal after finishing a specific book, not wanted to move on to other characters, wanted to reread the whole book or sections of it again immediately after finishing, etc.? Oh, yes, all the time. And that goes, I think, with the book that you couldn't put down. And maybe that is the same kind of, in a way, as it not wanting it to come to an end. There have been books where I read the book and I'm like, that was so good, and I just flip right back to the beginning and start reading it again, because I love the characters so much, because just the whole atmosphere or just the tone of the whole book just made me like, that was just so good. Or maybe I want to spend more time with the characters. Maybe I want to see again what the author was doing. I would say, so, my very beloved book, The Animators by Kayla Ray Whitaker, I reread immediately after reading it. I reread it right away. I remember reading, this was a weird one because it was both a DNF and this. I had, a long time ago, I bought the book Special Topics in Calamity Physics by Marisha Pessel. And I had started reading that book. I think I bought it around the same time I think it came out around the same time as Prep. And I love books, especially that are set in academic settings. And I remember I bought that book and I started reading it, and I just didn't like it at all. I just thought the tone of it was kind of, I don't know. I thought that it was kind of pretentious, or I don't know what I thought really. But I was just like, that was a book I regretted buying. And I was like, oh God, why did I buy this? Because I bought it in hardcover. I bought it right after it came out because it got such great reviews. And I just sat on my shelf and sat on my shelf. And finally, I don't know why. Maybe I read something about it or heard something about it, or maybe it was just one of those, I was in a slump or between just like looking for something and thought, well, you know what? I'll give this another shot. I'll give it another try. And so I picked it up and I started from where I left off. I think I'd only read like 30 pages. I didn't go back to the beginning. And I could not put it down. I loved it. I loved it so much. I just thought this is such an amazing and remarkable book. And I flipped right back to the beginning and read the whole thing again, like right away. And I don't do that so much now, but I used to do it much more frequently. And I don't do it now mainly because of the channel and because I feel like I need to keep moving. So you guys, if I was like, oh yeah, I read it, and then I read it like 2 more times, you guys would be like, oh, great. She's talking about that book again. Like Mobility by Lydia Kiesling, I probably could have reread that one. Yeah, I could have reread that one a couple of times. I wanted to reread The Shards. I read The Shards at the end of last year, beginning of this year, and I wanted to reread it just right away because it's just kind of, it has the same kind of feeling as Special Topics and Calamity Physics. There are things that happen where you're like, wait, what? I need to talk to somebody about this. I need to figure this out. I need to read it again. So yeah, not the same, not the same book, but like just that same feeling as that you have when you're reading. Okay. All right. Quit babbling. You've got more questions. All right. I think I answered that question, but yeah, I love to reread anyway, if I love a book. So number 5, what keeps you invested in a book? Oh, I would say definitely the characters, but more than just the characters, the relationships between the characters and the pacing. I can do a meandering book, it's fine. But I have started to find like I am not really into like navel gazing autofiction where people are unpacking their every thought and feeling. It just, I'm like, you're not that interesting. So I really want to see, and while it can be interesting to read a book about somebody who feels isolated or who somehow feels like outside of society, or introverted, that can be interesting if it's really well done. Especially, I think, if you're setting those characters against an environment or a situation where they're going to have to do something. But books where it's just somebody being like all the time introverted, I can't do that all the time. So I feel like there need to be some strong relationships. I need to see some different points. I like multi-point of view. And I like to see it, but I don't require it. But I also really need some pacing. I really like a book that has a bit of movement to it. So it doesn't have to be plot heavy. It doesn't have to even, how do you say that? I think you can have a well-paced but not plot heavy book. If I could think of an example, like maybe Writers and Lovers by Lily King is a good example of that. Like, it's well-paced, things happen, but it's not a plot-heavy book. It's not an action book. Nothing needs to get resolved or solved, but it's not, it doesn't go on and on and on, but it's also just it doesn't drag at all. So yeah, I think those would be the main things that keep me invested. And the writing, of course. Because I think that the writing is usually going to be, if you have those things, especially the pacing piece, the writing is usually going to be up to par most of the time. I don't know. Okay. What prompts you to pick up a book? The cover, a blurb on the back of the book, etc. I'm not a book by its cover person. I mean, I used to be, and I kind of miss that. I miss, I'll be honest. I kind of miss the days before social media. As fun as it is to like have this online community where everybody's talking about books, or to have like Bookstagram as well, or back when it was all book blogs, and I had a book blog, and it was so fun to check in with other bloggers and do those kinds of things. As exciting and fun as that was, like, it was really great before the publicists started to figure out that they needed to start hitting up the bloggers, and NetGalley came along, and then it was just like everybody's reading the same books. But the point is, because I'm not answering the question again, the point is, yes, I used to go to the bookstore and pick something up, and if I saw an interesting cover, or an interesting title with an interesting cover, or maybe with a blurb on it, I was much more, back in the 90s, or say, it was so fun to go book shopping. And it still kind of is fun to go book shopping. I just don't, it's hard for me to go book shopping now, because it's like I feel like I've seen everything, or not everything, but 80% of what's on the shelf at the bookstore is stuff I have seen it. I've heard someone talk about it. I've seen a Bookstagram review, or what, I've seen it on Goodreads. So, I guess what prompts me to pick up a book, though, is Bookstagram or BookTube, and book people I trust. So like if Angelia at Read and Reread, or Sonia at An Enthusiastic Reader, or Brian at Bookish, or like Hannah at Hannah's Books, or if Pat at Book Chat with Pat says this is a good book, this is worth your time, or Sarah, like Sarah Callspeak, if I'm looking for something that's like an indie, and she's eyes on indie. If I'm looking for something from indie publishers, I have like a little stack that Sarah made me buy. I need to do a video on that. Or like Katie Lumpson. I will totally, I'll go look for those books. And then there are some people on Bookstagram who aren't on BookTube. Also, like Novel Visits is one. I think her real name is Susie, and she's also on, I've been following her forever. Sarah's Bookshelves, the Gilmore Guide to Books. I've known those people since book blogging days, and I still follow them on Bookstagram, and so they're terrific. Okay. Anyway, so that's where I get most of my book information now. Number 7, do you keep finished books to reread, or do you unhaul them? I very rarely unhaul books. The last time I unhauled books was when we moved here. Sorry if you can hear that banging. I don't know what is going on. Somebody somewhere is doing work. It's just par for the course. I haven't unhauled books since we moved here. And I think I've told the story of the very sad unhaul story, which was that I had, excuse me, I had packed up all my books. I packed up all the boxes, and I put boxes that I was giving away in one spot, and all the books I was bringing with me in another spot, and a box got swapped. So I'm unpacking all my books when we're here, and I'm like, I opened one of the boxes, and I was like, what? No! Why do I have these books? And then was like, I don't have, some of the books that were like, I had a hardcover of like Underworld. I had a old hardcover like from when it first came out of the corrections. Not that I'm a big Franzen fan, but I don't know. I have my copy of Empire Falls, the hardback. I have my copy of Anna Karenina. All those were in that box. Anyway, I haven't unhauled since we moved here, and I probably should do an unhaul, but it's kind of harder to unhaul books here. There's a secondhand English bookshop that does buy back books, but or you can get credit for books. So I think it's probably easier to get credit, but I don't know. So, and then there used to be a Better World Books drop in the bookstore in the American Book Center, which is one of our English language bookstores here. But I haven't seen it since before COVID, so I'm not sure. I have to figure that out. Now there's a siren. Now there's a. I don't know if you can hear that, but okay. All right, that's great. Number 8. I'm almost finished. Number 8. Who or what do you trust most for book recommendations? Well, I just answered that on what prompted me. What prompts me to pick up a book is definitely recommendations from BookTube and Bookstagram or from friends in real life. But I most frequently get my recommendations from like you guys or yeah, and from the commenters, of course, from you, from all of you who comment and tell me about books. Of course, of course. And I stalk you because so many of you also watch other channels that I watch, and I read the comments on other channels, and so I get ideas there as well. And I see what you say. I see what you're doing out there. Don't think I don't see you. Um, yeah. And so, and probably, it's like, and I would add Heidi at my reading life. I would add like Sean at Sean Breathes Books, um, Shelly Swearingen, Randy Ray, Literate Texan. Uh, oh gosh, I just got seen some great stuff from Carl at Please Read Your Book. Nick at Dr. Cranky Pants. Those are Nick's a little bit newer, but he's had some good recommendations, and we've got similar tastes. Greg, it's supposedly fun. Um, I mean, I could just go on and on. Oh, oh, I want to say, is her name Catherine? Catherine, at a provincial lady reads. Uh, oh gosh, my gosh, I'm getting her. I'm gonna want to get her. Diary of a Provincial Lady. Wonderful channel, relatively new channel. I have been watching her videos, all her videos. So yeah, and that's the great thing too, is like new booktubers come on the scene, and it's great to have more people in the mix, either reinforcing or bringing new things into the mix. So love it, love it. All right. A bonus question. Would you ever pick up a book and read it without knowing anything about it? Or conversely, let someone else choose your book for you? A book blind date, otherwise. Yes. Yes. Actually, sometimes I feel like I would prefer that. I think it would be a lot of fun to have someone pick my book out. Someone pick my, to have somebody pick out a book for me now and again, and I don't know anything about it. I think that would be really great fun. Um, and yeah, because that just doesn't happen anymore. Again, going back to the browsing, what prompts you to pick up a book question, because that's how it used to be, right? Like you go to the bookstore or the secondhand bookstore. I mean, I would go to Recycled Books and Records in Denton, and I didn't know what I was getting. I discovered so many, I didn't discover them because they were already out there, but you know what I mean. I learned about so many new authors, and it was really exciting to pick something up and read it. And it was just, yeah, and I knew nothing, it was something I didn't know anything about. And then you have all the fun of like, well, what else did they write and what else did they do? And now it's like, oh, I really like this author, and like there's a book, someone's posted a book stack of all the book, I don't know. I'm not going to complain because it goes both ways, right? This is a fun time to have community and everybody sharing, whereas back then it was like most not everybody that I knew was reading those books, or really liked doing that, or I don't know. It just was different. maybe if you'd have to loan the book to somebody, you'd discover something or find something, and then you'd have to loan it to somebody so that you could talk to somebody about it. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. Especially if it was a book that wasn't just like on the bestseller table at Barnes and Noble or whatever, or the Borders. Oh, that Borders in Dallas had the best Borders. One of the first Borders. The first Borders in Dallas was just absolutely glorious. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Okay. And then it says to tag other people. So I don't know who all has been tagged to do this tag, but I will tag some people. I guess I could tag some people. This always makes me so nervous. This is when I choke. You know what I'll do is I'll tag people in the description box. I will tag some people down in the description box below. I'm not going to try to do it here because I will just forget people. I don't want. That's the hard thing about tagging is I hate. I understand why some people tag everybody because you just don't want to feel like you're forgetting anyone. But I'll only tag like 3 or 4 people, and they may be overlaps, and if they are, that's okay. That's okay. All right, so that's it. That's it for me today, I guess, and I will hope. What? Okay. I will hope to see you again soon. I will be back. And I hope that you are doing well out there. If you want to answer any of these questions, I have them in the description box. So please feel free to let me know how, where you stand on some of these things. And I will talk to you again soon. Take care. Take care. Bye.